For centuries, the moon has been humanity's constant companion in the night sky, a silent guardian whose pale light has inspired myths, guided travelers, shaped calendars, and influenced the very rhythms of life on Earth. Yet despite its familiarity, it remains one of the most enigmatic objects in our cosmic neighborhood, a body whose origin story, physical properties, and internal structure continue to challenge conventional scientific understanding in ways that grow more intriguing with each new generation of astronomical technology. What if the moon is not merely a natural satellite formed by a colossal impact billions of years ago, as most textbooks suggest, but instead something far more extraordinary, something deliberately constructed, engineered with precision beyond human capability, a colossal megastructure placed in orbit around Earth for purposes we are only beginning to imagine? This idea may sound like science fiction, the kind of speculation reserved for late-night conspiracy forums or futuristic novels, yet over the last few years, particularly with the emergence of new, high-resolution lunar scans, refined seismic modeling, and increasingly precise orbital data, released in 2024, a growing number of independent researchers and even some mainstream scientists have begun quietly questioning whether the standard formation theories fully explain what we observe today. The moon behaves in ways that are mathematically improbable, structurally unusual, and geologically inconsistent with what we would expect from a body formed through chaotic cosmic collisions. It rings like a hollow bell during seismic events, possesses a density distribution that defies simple natural processes, maintains an almost perfectly circular orbit unusually stable for a satellite of its size, and is positioned at a distance that allows it to appear nearly the same size as the sun in Earth's sky, producing total solar eclipses so precise they seem almost engineered. When examined individually, each of these anomalies can be brushed aside with complex explanations, statistical coincidences, or evolving models, but when viewed collectively, they form a pattern that suggests intentional design rather than random formation, raising a profound question that humanity has rarely dared to confront seriously. Could the moon be an artificial construct, a megastructure created by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization long before modern humans ever walked the Earth? To understand why this hypothesis has gained renewed attention, we must first explore the conventional story of lunar formation and where it begins to unravel under closer scrutiny. The dominant theory, known as the giant impact hypothesis, proposes that roughly 4.5 billion years ago, a Mars-sized protoplanet, often called Theia, collided with the early Earth, ejecting vast amounts of debris into orbit that eventually coalesced into the moon. This model was widely accepted because it appeared to explain the moon's size, its lack of volatile elements, and some similarities in isotopic composition between Earth and lunar rocks. However, as more samples have been analyzed and more precise measurements taken, scientists have encountered inconsistencies that strain this narrative. The moon's isotopic composition is not just similar to Earth's, it is nearly identical in ways that would require an almost impossibly perfect mixing of material from Earth and Theia, a level of homogeneity that current collision models struggle to reproduce even under highly optimized conditions. Furthermore, the moon's internal structure, revealed through seismic data from missions such as Apollo and later refined through satellite observations, suggests a layered composition with an unusually small core relative to its overall size, surrounded by regions of varying density that do not match the expected results of a simple molten accretion process. In 2024, new lunar gravitational mapping conducted with unprecedented resolution revealed subtle but consistent mass concentrations, known as mascons, distributed beneath the lunar surface in symmetrical patterns that some analysts argue resemble structural reinforcement rather than random geological formations. While mainstream researchers attribute these mascons to ancient asteroid impacts and lava flows, alternative interpretations propose that their arrangement is too organized, too strategically positioned, and too uniform in scale to be entirely natural, hinting, instead at an internal framework designed to stabilize the moon's structure and orbit. Perhaps even more intriguing is the moon's seismic behavior. During the Apollo missions, astronauts placed seismometers on the lunar surface to study moonquakes, and when spent rocket stages were deliberately crashed into the moon to generate controlled seismic events, scientists observed something unexpected. The moon vibrated for hours, sometimes nearly an entire day, like a bell struck with a hammer. Earth, by contrast, absorbs seismic energy relatively quickly due to its complex layered composition and liquid core. But the moon's prolonged resonance suggested an internal structure far more rigid and possibly hollow in certain regions, leading one Apollo scientist to famously remark that it rang like a hollow object. While official explanations proposed that the dry, fractured nature of lunar rock caused this effect, more recent modeling indicates that such prolonged resonance would still be difficult to achieve without large internal cavities or highly unusual material properties. In 2024, advanced simulations incorporating updated seismic data showed resonance patterns that align more closely with partially hollow structures than with fully solid rocky bodies, reigniting speculation that the moon's interior may contain vast voids or chambers inconsistent with natural geological processes. Another anomaly lies in the moon's density. The moon is significantly less dense than Earth, which in itself is not surprising given its smaller size and lack of heavy elements, yet the distribution of that density is peculiar. Much of the moon's mass appears concentrated closer to the surface than expected, while its deeper interior lacks the dense core typical of planetary bodies formed through gravitational differentiation. Some researchers suggest that if the moon were an artificial shell-like structure, possibly composed of layered materials surrounding internal spaces, this density profile would make far more sense than within the framework of traditional formation theories. Then there is the moon's orbit, remarkably stable and nearly circular, an uncommon trait among large natural satellites, which typically exhibit more elliptical orbits due to gravitational interactions and the chaotic conditions of early solar system formation. The moon's axial tilt and orbital plane are also finely tuned in a way that contributes to Earth's climate stability, moderating seasonal extremes and helping maintain conditions conducive to life for billions of years. While many scientists view this as a fortunate coincidence, others argue that the statistical likelihood of such perfect alignment occurring naturally is extraordinarily low, raising the possibility that the moon was deliberately positioned to act as a stabilizing mechanism for Earth, perhaps as part of a larger planetary engineering project. If we consider the concept of megastructures, vast artificial constructions built by advanced civilizations to harness energy, monitor planets, or manipulate cosmic environments, the idea of an artificial moon becomes less implausible within the broader context of theoretical astrophysics. Physicist Freeman Dyson famously proposed the concept of Dyson spheres, massive structures built around stars to capture their energy output. And while no confirmed examples have been observed, astronomers have identified stars exhibiting unusual light patterns that some speculate could indicate large-scale artificial constructions. If civilizations, millions or even billions of years more advanced than ours, exist or once existed, the creation of a moon-sized structure, though staggering by human standards, may be well within their technological capabilities. In this context, the moon could serve multiple purposes: a stabilizer for Earth's rotation, a gravitational regulator influencing tides and climate, an observational platform monitoring the planet's biosphere, or even a concealed habitat or archive preserving knowledge across cosmic timescales. Some speculative models propose that such a megastructure could be built around a dense core or framework, then covered with layers of rock and regolith to appear natural, effectively camouflaging its artificial nature from primitive observers. Over billions of years, impacts from meteors and cosmic debris would further disguise its true structure, creating craters and surface features indistinguishable from those of a natural body. This would explain why the Moon appears outwardly geological, while internally exhibiting properties that defy simple natural explanation. One of the most provocative aspects of the renewed interest in this hypothesis comes from recent radar imaging studies conducted by lunar orbiters using deep penetrating frequencies capable of mapping subsurface structures. In 2024, several independent research teams analyzing publicly released radar datasets reported anomalies beneath the lunar surface that resemble vast linear formations and curved shapes extending for hundreds of kilometers, structures that do not match known lava tubes, impact melt zones, or tectonic features. Although official agencies caution that these may be artifacts of data processing or unusual geological formations, the consistency of these patterns across multiple datasets has fueled speculation that they could represent remnants of an internal framework or engineered cavities. Adding to the mystery are historical records and ancient myths from civilizations across the world that describe a time when the Moon either did not exist or appeared suddenly in the sky. Ancient Greek texts, including references attributed to Aristotle and Plutarch, mention groups known as the Proselenes, people who claim to have lived before the Moon was present in the heavens. While many historians interpret these accounts metaphorically or symbolically, some researchers argue that they may preserve distorted memories of a real astronomical event, possibly the arrival or activation of the Moon in Earth's orbit. Similarly, myths from Africa, Australia, and the Americas describe the Moon as being placed in the sky by powerful beings, or emerging during a cataclysmic period in human prehistory, narratives that intriguingly align with the concept of an artificial object introduced into Earth's environment. From a purely scientific perspective, the idea of an artificial moon remains highly speculative. Yet the growing list of anomalies continues to challenge the completeness of conventional explanations. In 2024 alone, newly refined lunar laser ranging experiments, which measure the distance between Earth and the Moon with millimeter precision using laser reflectors left by Apollo astronauts, detected subtle but persistent fluctuations in the Moon's orbital motion that do not fully match predictions based on gravitational models. Some physicists suggest these discrepancies could be due to unknown internal mass distributions or even active stabilization mechanisms, subtly adjusting the Moon's position over time. While such claims remain controversial, they highlight how much we still do not understand about the Moon's behavior, despite centuries of observation and decades of space exploration. If the Moon were indeed an artificial megastructure, it would represent one of the most profound discoveries in human history, fundamentally altering our understanding of life in the universe, the history of Earth, and humanity's place in the cosmic timeline. It would imply that intelligent beings existed long before modern civilization and possessed technologies capable of manipulating planetary systems on a colossal scale, and that Earth itself may have been intentionally shaped or monitored as part of a larger experiment or long-term project. This possibility forces us to reconsider not only astronomical data, but also the philosophical assumptions that underpin our view of the universe as largely random and indifferent to life. As we continue deeper into this investigation, examining new evidence, reinterpreting old data, and exploring alternative models that challenge mainstream theories, the question remains increasingly difficult to dismiss. Is the Moon truly a natural relic of a violent cosmic past? Or is it a silent artifact of an ancient intelligence whose purpose we are only beginning to glimpse? In the next section, we will delve further into the most recent astronomical observations from 2024, including high-precision gravitational scans, seismic reinterpretations, and thermal anomalies that suggest the Moon may possess internal energy patterns inconsistent with a cold, inert rock, patterns that some researchers argue point toward an engineered structure rather than a dead celestial body. As new instruments and analytical techniques have emerged, the Moon has increasingly revealed itself not as a simple, inert rock orbiting Earth, but as a complex and dynamic body whose internal behavior challenges long-standing assumptions about planetary geology. One of the most striking developments in 2024 came from refined thermal imaging conducted by next-generation lunar orbiters equipped with ultra-sensitive infrared sensors capable of detecting minute temperature variations across the lunar surface and beneath shallow subsurface layers. These instruments revealed persistent thermal hotspots in regions that should, according to conventional models, be geologically dormant and uniformly cold, particularly on the far side of the moon, where solar heating is minimal and volcanic activity supposedly ceased billions of years ago. While some scientists attribute these anomalies to residual heat from ancient magma chambers or unusual mineral compositions that retain warmth, the distribution and consistency of these hotspots do not align neatly with known geological structures. Instead, they appear in organized clusters, sometimes forming geometric arrangements that suggest internal conduits or energy flow systems, rather than random thermal remnants of a long-dead volcanic past. Advanced modeling, performed in 2024, indicated that sustaining such localized heat signatures over geological timescales would require either ongoing internal energy sources or materials with thermal properties far beyond what is observed in natural lunar rock. This has led some researchers to propose the possibility of internal mechanisms regulating heat, perhaps as part of a larger engineered system designed to maintain structural integrity or perform unknown functions within the moon's interior. Complementing these thermal findings are newly reanalyzed seismic datasets that extend far beyond the original Apollo-era interpretations. Using modern computational methods, scientists revisited decades-old moonquake recordings, filtering out noise and applying three-dimensional wave propagation models that were impossible to run with earlier technology. The results painted a far more complex picture of the moon's internal structure than previously thought, revealing abrupt boundaries between layers, unexpected void-like regions, and reflective surfaces deep within the moon that behaved more like engineered compartments than natural geological transitions. Some seismic waves appeared to bounce repeatedly between specific depths, as though encountering large internal surfaces rather than gradually dissipating through solid rock, reinforcing the idea that the moon's interior may contain vast hollow spaces or structurally distinct zones arranged in a deliberate pattern. One particularly puzzling discovery involved what researchers termed seismic shadow regions, areas where wave energy abruptly diminished or vanished altogether, suggesting the presence of cavities or materials that absorb vibrations in ways not observed in typical planetary interiors. Natural explanations struggle to account for such sharply defined boundaries without invoking exotic geological scenarios. Yet the patterns become far more comprehensible if interpreted as large internal chambers or engineered spaces embedded within the moon's structure. Another layer of mystery arises from the moon's magnetic properties. Although the moon lacks a global magnetic field today, lunar rocks collected during the Apollo missions show evidence that it once possessed a strong magnetosphere billions of years ago, comparable in strength to Earth's current field. This is difficult to reconcile with the moon's small core and lack of sustained geological activity, as planetary magnetic fields are typically generated by molten, rotating metallic cores that persist for long periods. Recent studies suggest that the moon's ancient magnetic field may have been powered not by a natural dynamo, but by an external or internal energy source that abruptly ceased, a scenario that some speculate could align with the deactivation of an engineered system, rather than the gradual cooling of a natural planetary core. In 2024, laboratory experiments simulating lunar rock magnetization under varying conditions demonstrated that achieving the recorded magnetic intensities would require energy levels far exceeding what standard models predict for the moon's early thermal state. This discrepancy has led to renewed debate over whether an unknown process, or possibly an artificial mechanism, once operated within the moon to generate and sustain its magnetic field. Beyond internal dynamics, the moon's surface itself holds clues that challenge conventional narratives. High-resolution imaging has revealed numerous linear features stretching across vast distances, some spanning hundreds of kilometers with remarkable straightness, cutting through craters, mountains, and plains alike. While many of these have been categorized as faults or collapsed lava tubes, their extreme length, uniform width, and near-perfect alignment raise questions about whether all can truly be attributed to natural tectonic processes on a body with minimal geological activity. In certain regions, these lines intersect at precise angles, forming grid-like patterns faintly visible beneath layers of regolith, reminiscent of structural frameworks rather than chaotic fractures. Radar scans penetrating several kilometers below the surface have further revealed buried formations that mirror these surface patterns, suggesting a deep, interconnected network that extends throughout portions of the Moon's crust. If these were simply ancient geological features, scientists would expect more variation in shape, scale, and orientation. Instead, many display a consistency more characteristic of engineered structures. The idea that the Moon could be a megastructure also gains indirect support from broader astronomical discoveries related to potential extraterrestrial engineering on cosmic scales. Over the past decade, astronomers have observed stars exhibiting unusual light fluctuations that defy explanation by natural phenomena, such as planetary transits or stellar activity. Some researchers have cautiously proposed that these irregular dimming patterns could be consistent with large artificial objects or swarms of structures orbiting stars, designed to capture energy or perform unknown functions. While no definitive evidence has confirmed the existence of such constructs, their theoretical plausibility within advanced civilizations has become a serious topic of scientific discussion rather than mere speculation. If megastructures can exist around stars, it becomes less unreasonable to consider the possibility of engineered bodies on planetary scales, especially if created by civilizations with technological capabilities far beyond our own. From an engineering perspective, constructing a moon-sized structure would require materials of extraordinary strength and durability, potentially utilizing forms of matter or composite structures not currently known to human science. Some theorists propose that such a megastructure could be built around a dense core, perhaps a captured asteroid or artificial mass, surrounded by layers of advanced alloys and rock-like materials designed to mimic natural geology while providing immense structural support. Over time, impacts from meteorites would naturally deposit debris across the surface, gradually creating the appearance of a natural celestial body. This long-term camouflage would allow the structure to blend seamlessly into the cosmic environment, making its artificial origin nearly impossible to detect without sophisticated technology. Another compelling aspect of the artificial moon hypothesis lies in the statistical improbability of its many life-supporting effects on Earth occurring purely by chance. The moon's gravitational pull stabilizes Earth's axial tilt, preventing extreme fluctuations that would otherwise lead to catastrophic climate shifts, potentially rendering the planet uninhabitable for complex life. It also drives ocean tides, which are believed to have played a crucial role in the development of early life by creating dynamic coastal environments rich in nutrients and chemical interactions. Furthermore, the moon acts as a partial shield, absorbing or deflecting countless asteroids and comets that might otherwise impact Earth with devastating consequences. While each of these effects can be explained within natural frameworks, the combined precision with which the moon supports Earth's habitability is striking, leading some to draw parallels with the concept of planetary engineering or deliberate environmental management. In this view, Earth and its moon could be part of a carefully designed system intended to foster life, observe its evolution, or preserve a biosphere across immense timescales. The possibility that humanity's cosmic neighbor is not a random byproduct of solar system formation, but an intentional construct forces us to confront profound philosophical implications. If an advanced civilization engineered the moon, who were they? When did they exist? And why did they undertake such a monumental project? Were they explorers shaping habitable worlds, caretakers preserving life, or observers conducting long-term experiments on planetary evolution? Did they disappear long before humans emerged, leaving behind silent artifacts like the moon as remnants of their presence? Or could they still exist elsewhere in the cosmos, monitoring the systems they once engineered? Some speculative theories even suggest that the moon could serve as a storage facility or archive, housing vast repositories of information, biological samples, or technological systems preserved within its interior chambers, waiting for a future intelligence capable of accessing them. While such ideas currently reside at the fringes of scientific thought, they highlight how radically our understanding of history and life in the universe would change if the moon were proven artificial. Skeptics rightly point out that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and at present, no single piece of data definitively proves the moon's artificial origin. However, science advances not only by confirming existing theories, but also by rigorously questioning them when new evidence exposes their limitations. The growing accumulation of lunar anomalies, from seismic behavior and density irregularities to thermal hotspots and geometric subsurface patterns, suggests that our current models may be incomplete at best. Whether these mysteries ultimately find natural explanations within revised geological frameworks, or point towards something far more extraordinary, remains an open question, one that future missions and technological advancements may finally resolve. Planned lunar exploration efforts in the coming decades aim to establish permanent human presence on the moon, drill deep into its crust, and deploy advanced sensor networks capable of mapping its interior in unprecedented detail. These endeavors may uncover definitive answers, revealing either a complex yet natural geological history or evidence of artificial structures hidden beneath billions of years of cosmic wear. As humanity stands on the threshold of renewed lunar exploration, the moon's secrets have never been closer to revelation. In the next section, we will examine how historical anomalies, ancient records, and unexplained observations from early astronomers intersect with modern scientific findings, creating a narrative that suggests the moon's mysteries have been hinted at for millennia, long before telescopes, satellites, and seismic instruments ever existed. Long before modern science began probing the moon with satellites, lasers, and seismic instruments, human civilizations across the globe recorded strange stories, myths, and observations that, when re-examined through the lens of contemporary discoveries, take on an unsettling new significance. Ancient cultures did not view the moon merely as a passive object in the sky. Many described it as something that appeared, was placed, or transformed the world in dramatic ways, often linked to periods of upheaval, the arrival of powerful beings, or shifts in cosmic order. While mainstream historians typically interpret these accounts as symbolic or allegorical, the consistency of certain themes across geographically isolated societies raises the possibility that they may preserve fragmented memories of real astronomical events or extraordinary phenomena witnessed by early humanity. In ancient Greek writings, references attributed to philosophers such as Aristotle and chroniclers like Plutarch mention the Proselines, a mysterious people whose name translates to those before the moon. These individuals were said to have lived in Arcadia before the moon existed in the sky, suggesting a time when Earth lacked its familiar satellite. Although many scholars dismiss these stories as poetic myth-making, some researchers argue that such references could point to an ancient awareness that the moon was not always present, or at least that its appearance marked a pivotal transition in Earth's history. Similar narratives emerge in African tribal traditions, where legends speak of a time of darkness before a great light was brought into the sky by celestial beings, stabilizing the seasons and transforming life on Earth. In Australian Aboriginal mythology, stories describe the moon as a man who climbed into the heavens during a great upheaval, altering the balance of nature and the rhythms of time. Native American traditions recount the moon being placed in the sky by powerful spirits to guide the tides and illuminate the night, again implying deliberate placement rather than natural emergence. While these myths cannot be taken as literal historical records, the shared motif of the moon's introduction or transformation suggests that ancient humans may have perceived it as something extraordinary, perhaps even unnatural in origin. Early astronomers also noted peculiarities about the moon that troubled conventional thinking for centuries. Galileo Galilei's telescopic observations in the early 17th century revealed a rugged lunar surface filled with mountains, valleys, and craters, shattering the long-held belief that celestial bodies were perfect, smooth spheres. Yet even Galileo remarked on the moon's uncanny resemblance to Earth in certain aspects, while remaining fundamentally different in ways that were difficult to explain within the cosmological models of his time. Later, astronomers observed strange light phenomena on the moon's surface, now known as transient lunar phenomena, brief flashes, glows, or color changes that occur unpredictably in specific regions. Although many of these events are attributed to outgassing, electrostatic effects, or meteor impacts, some remain unexplained, particularly those that appear repeatedly in the same locations over long periods. In recent years, high-speed imaging and spectral analysis have captured some of these events in unprecedented detail, revealing energy releases inconsistent with simple gas emissions or impact flashes. In 2024, a series of transient events recorded near the Aristarchus Plateau displayed thermal and electromagnetic signatures that some scientists found difficult to reconcile with known geological processes, renewing speculation that localized internal activity or artificial mechanisms might be at play beneath the lunar surface. Another long-standing mystery involves the moon's near-perfect size and distance relationship with the sun, which allows it to cover the sun almost exactly during total solar eclipses. From Earth's perspective, the moon and sun appear nearly identical in angular diameter, an alignment so precise that it produces dramatic eclipses, where the sun's bright disk is completely obscured, revealing the solar corona in stunning detail. This phenomenon is not observed on most planets with moons, where satellites typically appear either much smaller or much larger relative to their host star. The statistical likelihood of such a precise alignment occurring naturally is extremely low, leading some to question whether this configuration is purely coincidental or the result of deliberate positioning. Total solar eclipses have played a significant role in scientific discovery, allowing astronomers to test theories of gravity, study the sun's outer atmosphere, and make observations otherwise impossible. Some have speculated that if the moon were intentionally placed, its eclipse-producing alignment could serve as a tool for advancing scientific understanding or signaling intelligent design. Modern mathematical modeling, conducted in 2024, suggests that the current Earth-Moon-Sun alignment exists within a narrow window of cosmic time, as the moon is slowly drifting away from Earth due to tidal interactions. This means that perfect total eclipses are a temporary phenomenon, lasting only a fraction of Earth's geological history, making their occurrence during humanity's technological era even more improbable if left to chance alone. Beyond myths and eclipses, ancient architectural alignments also hint at humanity's long-standing fascination with the moon's precise movements. Structures such as Stonehenge in England, ancient temples in Mesoamerica, and pyramids in Egypt were aligned with lunar cycles, eclipses, and extreme rising and setting points of the moon, known as lunar standstills. These civilizations tracked the moon's motion with remarkable accuracy, often attributing divine or cosmic significance to its behavior. Some researchers suggest that this intense focus may reflect an ancient awareness of the moon's unusual nature, or its profound influence on Earth's stability and life. The possibility that early humans sensed something extraordinary about the moon, even without modern instruments, adds an intriguing dimension to the artificial megastructure hypothesis. From a modern scientific standpoint, the idea of an artificial moon intersects with the growing field of astrobiology and the search for technosignatures, signs of advanced technology beyond Earth. Traditionally, efforts to detect extraterrestrial intelligence focused on radio signals or optical communications. But in recent years, scientists have expanded their search to include physical structures, unusual energy emissions, and anomalies in celestial objects that could indicate engineering on a massive scale. These technosignatures could range from altered stellar spectra to artificial satellites orbiting exoplanets, or even planetary-scale constructs designed for climate control or energy management. If the moon were an engineered object, it would represent a technosignature not in a distant star system, but within our own solar neighborhood, fundamentally reshaping the scope and urgency of extraterrestrial research. Some scientists have begun proposing systematic searches for artificial structures within our solar system, examining asteroids, moons, and planetary surfaces for patterns inconsistent with natural formation. Advanced machine learning algorithms applied to astronomical datasets have already identified unusual features on Mars, the Moon, and other bodies that merit closer investigation, though most are ultimately explained by geological processes once studied in detail. Still, the very act of searching reflects a growing recognition that intelligent civilizations may leave behind durable physical artifacts that persist long after they themselves are gone. The Moon, with its minimal atmosphere and geological activity, is an ideal preservation environment, capable of maintaining structures for billions of years with relatively little erosion. If an ancient civilization sought to create a long-lasting monument, monitoring station, or stabilizing mechanism, the Moon would be a perfect candidate. Another provocative idea suggests that the Moon could function as a massive data storage device, encoding information within its structure or materials in ways far beyond current human technology. Just as scientists are now exploring the potential of DNA and crystal lattices for ultra-dense information storage, an advanced civilization might have embedded vast libraries of knowledge within the Moon's internal layers, designed to remain intact across cosmic timescales. Such a repository could contain records of their civilization, instructions for emerging intelligent species, or even warnings about cosmic dangers. Though highly speculative, this concept highlights how the Moon's unusual properties could align with purposes beyond simple natural existence. Critics argue that invoking ancient myths and speculative technologies risks drifting into pseudoscience, and they emphasize the need for rigorous empirical evidence before entertaining such extraordinary claims. They point out that human cultures often anthropomorphize natural phenomena, creating stories to explain the unknown, and that many geological anomalies eventually find mundane explanations as scientific understanding advances. Nevertheless, history shows that some ideas once dismissed as impossible or fantastical later became accepted scientific truths, from continental drift to the existence of exoplanets and black holes. The artificial moon hypothesis occupies a similar space of radical possibility, challenging deeply entrenched assumptions while awaiting decisive evidence. What makes the current moment particularly significant is the convergence of advanced technology, renewed lunar exploration, and an openness within parts of the scientific community to consider unconventional explanations when data demands it. As upcoming missions prepare to drill deeper into the lunar crust, deploy new seismic networks, and map the Moon's interior with unprecedented precision, humanity may soon uncover answers that either reinforce natural formation theories or reveal something far more astonishing hidden beneath the surface. In the final section, we will explore the potential implications if the Moon were confirmed to be a megastructure, how such a discovery would transform science, religion, philosophy, and humanity's understanding of its origins, and what it might mean for our future as a species in an inhabited universe. If future exploration were to confirm that the moon is not a natural celestial body but an artificial megastructure created by an advanced intelligence, the implications would extend far beyond astronomy, fundamentally transforming every field of human knowledge and reshaping humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Such a discovery would instantly answer one of the oldest and most profound questions ever asked. Are we alone? The existence of an engineered moon would serve as undeniable proof that intelligent civilizations not only exist or once existed beyond Earth, but also possess or possessed technologies capable of manipulating planetary systems on a colossal scale. This would elevate the search for extraterrestrial life from distant speculation to a concrete reality embedded within our own cosmic neighborhood, forcing scientists to rethink timelines of cosmic evolution and the frequency of advanced civilizations across the galaxy. It would suggest that technological intelligence may arise far more commonly than previously believed, and that some civilizations achieve levels of mastery over matter and energy that allow them to reshape entire worlds. From a scientific perspective, uncovering the materials, construction methods, and internal mechanisms of a lunar megastructure would likely revolutionize physics and engineering. The moon might contain unknown forms of matter, ultra-strong composites, or energy systems that operate on principles beyond current human understanding, potentially unlocking technologies capable of solving humanity's greatest challenges, from sustainable energy generation to interstellar travel. Studying such a structure could provide insights into advanced propulsion systems, gravity manipulation, or methods of preserving massive constructs over billions of years without degradation. In essence, the moon could represent the ultimate technological artifact, a blueprint of cosmic engineering left behind by a civilization far ahead of our own. The philosophical consequences would be equally profound. Humanity has long grappled with questions of meaning, origin, and uniqueness, often viewing itself as a solitary spark of consciousness in a vast, indifferent universe. Confirmation of an artificial moon would shatter this isolation, placing humanity within a much larger cosmic narrative of intelligent life, technological progression, and perhaps even interstellar interaction. It would challenge deeply held beliefs about human exceptionalism, while simultaneously opening the possibility that Earth and its life forms were not random accidents of cosmic chemistry, but part of a larger, intentional process. Some might interpret such a discovery as evidence of cosmic guardians or creators, beings who shaped environments to foster life, while others would see it as the result of ancient exploration or long-term scientific experimentation conducted by an advanced species. Religious and spiritual frameworks across the world would inevitably grapple with the implications. For some traditions, the existence of non-human intelligences, responsible for shaping parts of our world, might be integrated into broader concepts of creation. Angels, watchers, or divine instruments, while for others it could challenge literal interpretations of sacred texts. Rather than diminishing spiritual meaning, such a revelation might expand it, encouraging humanity to see itself as part of a vast, interconnected cosmos filled with layers of intelligence and purpose beyond current comprehension. At the same time, social and political structures would face unprecedented questions about humanity's preparedness to encounter evidence of advanced extraterrestrial technology. Who would control access to the moon's interior if artificial structures were discovered? How would knowledge gained from such technology be shared or regulated to prevent misuse? Would nations compete for dominance over alien artifacts, or would humanity unite in recognition of a shared cosmic heritage? The discovery could either deepen global divisions or catalyze an era of unprecedented cooperation, focused on collective progress and exploration. Beyond immediate consequences, the artificial moon hypothesis invites us to reconsider the long-term trajectory of intelligent civilizations. If an advanced species constructed the moon billions of years ago and is no longer present, it raises questions about the lifespan of technological societies and the challenges they face. Did they destroy themselves through war, environmental collapse, or runaway technology? Did they transcend physical form, migrate to other star systems, or evolve beyond recognizable existence? Or did they simply move on, leaving behind artifacts like the moon as silent witnesses to their achievements? This perspective aligns with the concept of the cosmic archaeological record, the idea that the universe may be filled with remnants of ancient civilizations whose signals have faded but whose structures remain. Just as human archaeologists uncover ruins of long-lost cultures on Earth, future spacefaring civilizations may one day study the moon as a relic of a vanished intelligence, piecing together its purpose and history. Even if the moon ultimately proves to be entirely natural, the investigation itself holds immense value. By pushing the boundaries of inquiry, questioning assumptions, and exploring anomalies with open yet rigorous minds, science advances toward a deeper and more accurate understanding of reality. Many of history's greatest breakthroughs began as radical ideas that challenged conventional wisdom, only to be refined or replaced as evidence accumulated. Whether the moon is a megastructure or a complex natural body shaped by processes we have yet to fully comprehend, the pursuit of truth drives progress. What remains undeniable is that the moon is far more mysterious than it appears. Its internal behavior, orbital precision, seismic resonance, thermal anomalies, and historical significance collectively paint a picture of an object that defies simple classification. Each new discovery reveals layers of complexity that demand explanation, reminding humanity how much remains unknown even within our own cosmic backyard. As upcoming missions prepare to establish long-term lunar bases, drill deeper than ever before, and deploy advanced networks of sensors across the moon's surface and interior, the coming decades may finally unravel these enduring mysteries. If artificial structures exist, humanity may soon stand face to face with evidence of an ancient intelligence, altering the course of history in ways impossible to fully predict. If not, the moon will still offer profound insights into planetary formation, early solar system dynamics, and the conditions that allowed life to flourish on Earth. Either outcome promises to expand human knowledge and reshape our understanding of the universe. As we gaze up at the moon, so familiar yet so enigmatic, it is worth remembering that every great leap in understanding begins with a question that challenges what we think we know. The possibility that the moon is a megastructure may seem extraordinary, but so once did the idea that Earth is not the center of the universe, that galaxies exist beyond our own, or that planets orbit distant stars by the billions. Reality has a way of surpassing imagination. Perhaps the moon is simply a natural companion, formed through ancient cosmic violence, a testament to the chaotic beauty of the universe, or perhaps it is something far more deliberate, a silent monument to a civilization whose story is written not in books, but in stone, orbit, and gravity. Until definitive evidence emerges, the moon will continue to inspire wonder, curiosity, and debate, inviting humanity to explore not only the cosmos beyond, but also the limits of its own understanding. And as science pushes ever closer to uncovering the truth, one thing remains certain. Whatever the moon ultimately proves to be, its secrets hold the power to transform how we see the universe and ourselves within it.